All right, here we go. Good evening, guys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to FFTV Premier League, and we're carrying on our Premier League prediction series with my friends from FFTV. And today, I've got Beavis with me. Over 20% knob if you, and for everyone who's followed us from the watch along, thank you so much, guys. Lovely to have you here. Great crowd. Get your comments flying. I can see they're already floating in. Evening to everyone. If I go through all the comments, I'll be here all night. But hi to regulars: Keith, Crypto, Mark, Pova Panda, Martin Orchard. Love to see you guys here. Craig Smalley, Cujo, Joseph Smile. So evening to all of you. Thank you for joining the stream. And yeah, like I said, we're going to carry on our Premier League predictions. So if you tuned in last week, we did basically the top 4, top 6 with Dino. And I will give, because he won't let me live it. He won't let me forget if I don't give Ant the opportunity to give me his rundown of the top 4 or 6, just so he can mention his beloved Arsenal. So we'll start with that. We'll give Ant a quick rundown of who he thinks his top 6 are going to be, and then we'll go on basically up until the 12th position, hopefully, and we'll give you our opinions on transfers, how we see the season starting, how they've done in pre-season, and so on and so forth. And basically, yeah, by the end of this series, I'll have all our guys' predictions, and then we'll put them up on the community tab. And you guys, if you're interested as well, get your predictions in as well, and if you pop them on FFTV WhatsApp group, we'll get them on our community tab as well. So, and I've not let you say a word yet, but reintroduce yourself to the lovely crowd, and yeah, let's get the show started. Go for it.
Yeah, man. Obviously, Forrest Dan. I'm known as the cool, calm, and collected one of the group. Everybody else tends to lose it a bit. I tend to remain calm and balanced. So you'll get a balanced view from me rather than the ravings of the others. So
yeah, that's what you're known for.
I think that's what I need to say, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, that's what you need to say. But okay, well, so as mentioned, I'm going to let you give me a fairly quick rundown of who you think is going to be the top 4. Let's start with the top 4 for your predictions for this season, and basically I'll ask a question: do you see anybody getting past Man City and stopping them getting a record 4th Premier League title in a row?
No.
The short answer.
Next.
And the longer answer.
Yeah, we are going to touch on the game we've just witnessed. So but
right.
We're going to do this first. Yeah.
Yes, let's do that first, actually. Well, remember, let's start off with what we just witnessed.
It was forgettable. Yeah, you're right there.
Go on. What were your opinions on it?
It's shit.
Yeah, let me go with your opinions first, and then I'll pipe in with mine.
Yeah, I thought we were appalling. I mean, Wolverine was saying we were, playing better, but it's all relative, isn't it? We probably did play better in the first half anyway than we had in our previous games, but that really doesn't mean a great deal because the bar was so low. I still don't see what we're aiming to do. I still don't see what style of play we're playing. We're still playing players that aren't going to be involved in the first team squad, and it's the second to last game. To my mind, by now, you should be putting out your strongest side in the formation you intend to go in against Arsenal and practice that and get that right. At the moment, what was that mess we just witnessed? 5-0. What was that all about? Hwang, is Hwang going to be playing in the Premier League? God, I hope not. I mean, it just, none of it makes sense to me. We've got players, as we all know, like Scarpa, not being given a chance, being brought on when we're 4-0 down and the team's being moved about and nobody knows where they're supposed to be. It was a total and utter waste of time. I said a few times that we're Premier League now. We're Nottingham Forest. We have a history. Yeah. Why are we playing a French team behind closed doors? I don't get it. Mm-hmm. The other clubs, a lot of the other clubs in the Premier League, even the ones that are lower down, are playing in America. They're playing in China. They're playing in Australia. They're playing in front of full crowds against good sides. Mm. We're playing fucking Rennes behind closed doors. And what was the one? Levante behind closed doors. What the hell is going off? We've had a shit pre-season, and I don't want to hear this crap about minutes in the legs. That's what training's for. You're not going to get your players sharp by playing them for 10 minutes here and chucking Fred blogs on here and dickhead over there. The whole thing is a total waste of time. On top of that, we've got one new player in.
Yes. Well, technically, yeah. No, you're right. I just don't want you to shoot. I don't want you to shoot. No, I don't want you to shoot your load too soon because we've got a big event on the weekend.
Yeah.
Events on the weekend.
Okay, yeah.
I want you to keep your powder dry to an extent. But in terms of the actual game, the first half was as much as I've seen us in our position half in any of our preseason games this season. Yeah. Even the one now was witness to against Notts County. We didn't. We certainly didn't spend too much time in the opposition half, and there was no real considered periods of play where we kept possession or where we looked good. So that was a disappointing friendly, to be honest. But today we did look a little bit better in that first half. I did see us pressing, but what was really highlighted was our appalling defense. A couple of real shoddy mistakes for the penalties. Just basically not marking our men. Worrell getting back to his, I'll call him out for it, his gum-chewing, strolling worst, which is one of the biggest criticisms I had of him last season when I watched him. But he just didn't seem bothered. He didn't seem up to the pace of the game. Today was very similar to that. But to be fair, I mean, if we're going to go into any Premier League game, and I don't care if it's Arsenal first game, if we go into any Premier League game next season with Worrell and McKenna as our centre backs, we're in fucking trouble. So there's no two ways about that. So that I'm going to kind of hope that the difference would be when you've got Niakate and when you've got Felipe back in, that we're a much stronger back four or back three, however he wants to play. But there is no future in playing Worrell and McKenna together as a centre-back pair in the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, I hear people will say, well, we didn't have our strongest side out. That's true. But my God, our second string is weak. But are people going to tell me that we're going to have Felipe and Niakate fit all season? No, we're not. They're going to have injuries, suspensions, whatever. And that's when you bring in your backups. And our backups, so if they're McKenna and Worrell, God help us.
Yeah, we had this conversation. Yeah, sure. Yeah, we did have this conversation the other night regarding our backup. Really, it's just not strong enough. We'll be a poor cup team this season. I think if we're relying on those players, because there is no backup. Because if you've got Felipe or Niakate out, you know we're in trouble. We know we're in trouble. And also Horvath, I thought that was his worst game I've seen him play for Forest.
It was not good.
Literally at one point he was moving the goalposts because they were on fucking wheels. But it was embarrassing.
They should have turned it round. That's what it should have done.
They still would have scored a banana shot on the other side. But to be fair, I'm not impressed at all. The chat's really flying through. I'd love to be able to catch up with it. So I mean, most of the guys I missed that one, but most of the guys in the chat.
Someone says he's 35 today. Sorry, mate.
Well, happy birthday, Felipe.
Happy birthday.
Something's in the post, mate. Yeah. Sorry, my man crush is going to come all out, mate. But I don't want to go any deeper with that. But yeah, no, most of the guys in the chat have followed us over from the watch along. So guys, give me your opinions. I mean, there's a few in there. Ryu's saying he's not impressed, and I don't think any of us are impressed. There's nothing to be impressed about. But I don't want to spend too much time on this. But Anne, you did make a great point earlier on, saying how at this stage they should be playing. It should be the team that you're expecting to start against Arsenal, and they should be playing 70. Next game's our last.
Last one, against Frankfurt. And they should be playing.
Yeah, and they should be playing the full 90 minutes by then. So they should have been done in stages, which most other teams do. I can only judge it on the two pre-seasons that I've seen Cooper have, because obviously he didn't start us the season that we got promoted. Exactly. But it's been very haphazard. We kind of touched on the opposition that we've had, how poor it's been, and how it's been like, there's no real form to what we're doing. There's no real idea that I can get from it. Yes, at times today we were a little bit better, but I think, like I say, we'll probably speak more. Certainly, we'll speak more on Sunday about this because it's probably how we're going to start the show. We want to have a look back on how pre-season's gone and how we're looking for the following week. Because at the moment, I'm fearing the worst against Arsenal.
The biggest worry for me, and you're right, it's like last season. I thought last season pre-season was dreadful. And look how we started the season, and I can't see any difference. Yeah, I just don't understand. It's appalling. It really is appalling. I'm far less confident now than I was at the end of last season. I can promise you.
Yeah.
And what do you have you seen an established pattern of play? Not really. Okay, we've had the low block. We know all about that, but I've seen nothing. Nothing.
Yeah, and this is a great point, like as I read. We need to start spending some money. We need to start seeing some players coming in. And if it does mean certain players have to leave for that to happen, then get on with it. You know, I know there's a domino effect that happens around the leagues. So certain players have to move on before others can come in, or funds can be freed up. But something needs to happen quick. Otherwise,
look at the players we've got. Look at the players we've got to sell. We don't want to sell out star. But look at who we have got to sell. You know, are people going to be coming in for the likes of Shelby and people like that?
Certainly not. But if you get them off, no, this thing. But as long if you can get them off a wage,
yeah.
But
do you know we had 9 players return from loans this summer? 9. So that's 9 players we basically don't want.
Yeah,
but that's a lot of wages. A lot of wages.
Of course it is. Yeah, but like I say, we'll talk more on this on Sunday. So guys, if you haven't got your tickets already, please make sure you do. You can buy your tickets on the door as well. Doors open at 3 o'clock, don't they? And the show starts at 4 at the Trent Nav, just right next to the Notts County Football Stadium. So we'd love to see you guys there. I know a lot of you guys are already going to be there. So anybody who hasn't got their ticket yet, you can buy. I haven't got the link here, but I will dig it out and I'll pop it in, or you can buy on the door on the day. But yeah, we've got a great crowd already, so it'll be amazing to see all you guys and see you in the flesh, basically. And then you can give us as much grief as you want, and there's no running space and no hiding place. But let's get back to tonight's show. And I want to give you the opportunity to give me a run through your top 4. So like I say, you're pretty confident that Man City, it's Man City's league to lose, isn't it, again?
I think so. I mean, they've just signing Vardyal, aren't they? I mean, their defence was immaculate last season. They've just added what I believe is possibly the best left centre-back in the world. You know what I mean? That guy is immense. He's 21 and he is immense. Yeah. So I don't think they're going to be weaker at the back. People have been going about, they're getting rid of players. But if you actually analyse it, who have they got rid of? Okay, Gundogan went. Massive player for them. But they've got, what's his name, Kovacic in, and he's a bloody good player. Don't underestimate Kovacic. He can be a star in that position. They've lost Mahrez. They're going to get another winger. So why do people... Because I have seen a lot of people saying, they could drop off. Why are people saying this? If they get rid of Kyle Walker, they don't play with fullbacks anymore. They play with 4... central defenders across, so they don't need Kyle Walker. Brilliant player though he is, don't get me wrong, but they don't need him anymore.
Yeah, fantastic player. Yeah, certainly one of the best Premier League.
Yeah, it looks like Bernardo Silva.
Bernardo Silva,
you know, so
which is a huge.
They're not weaker, are they?
They're certainly not. And if you look at the progression of the players, and you can see Foden getting a lot more game time this season as well, and he's one that's been. He's a fantastic player. The more I see him, the better he seems to get. And if you let him off the leash, because I think Grealish is doing well down. I think he's got that left side locked down. So you probably see Foden coming on the other side where Mahrez was fitting in, but certainly getting a lot more game time.
They're on about putting him into midfield as well, aren't they? They're on about putting him into midfield as well, because that's where I think they're saying they want him to eventually end up.
Yeah.
Like, quite a few players play on the wings when they're learning the game, and then once they understand it, they can. And I think that's what we're doing with Foden. They've got
to give him more free role. They have, and it just reminds me of United back in the day. Remember, I mean, he used to get rid of some of the biggest players, and You brief over them, and they just got stronger and stronger. You know, Pep clearly knows what he's doing. The fact that he stayed there for that long is fair play to him, and it just obviously shows that he's enjoying where he's at and he's enjoying what he's doing and the players that he's bringing through. But yeah, Man City, I just can't see. I don't think they may be weak. In some eyes, it might be weak, but I don't think so. I think even them weaker is still a lot stronger than most of the teams. And if they can get off to a good start as well, because what has been winning them leagues over the last few seasons has been their strong finishes after Christmas, going on these massive runs of winning almost 15 to 20 games in a row. And you honestly, it puts a pressure on. It clearly put the pressure on Arsenal, didn't it? They looked behind them, and at one point, they were 8 points clear, weren't they, with a game in hand? And
Man City had the game in hand, but that was pure pressure. You're absolutely right. It's pure pressure because they were playing fantastic football. They looked like they were just going to storm it, and they hit like 30 games, and it just went down off the cliff. You know. Well, I'll put it out there now. Ed, I don't know what you think, but I put it out there now. Now, maybe a hot take this, but I reckon Pep Guardiola is an even better manager than Steve Cooper. I'll put it out there now.
Mate, they don't call us Beavis and Butthead for nothing, do they? Fucking hell, mate, you're coming out with comments like that. Oh, mate, I think you'll have no argument in our chat anyway, that's for sure. Okay, so one nice little segue. I see how you slipped your beloved Gooners in. Do you reckon they'll be the runners-up this season? Do you think they'll push them close, or do you think they might be taking a step back? And
again, I've seen an awful lot of people come with a narrative that one season wonder, they're going to drop off, and I don't know why they think that. They were a great side last season, fell late on, obviously. Declan Rice, I think, is a fantastic signing. I mean, that guy, keeping Thomas Partey, absolutely vital. Havertz, like most people, I'm not sure about. I'll be honest. And I can only think that Arteta can see something. He's got a plan for him because I don't see it myself. And Timber looks absolutely fucking brilliant. And now they're on about bringing Raya in, who is a better distributor of the ball than Ramsdale. I love Ramsdale. I like his antics and that. I like a bit of shithouser in that. And he's a good shot stopper. But Raya is a better distributor. I mean, nobody at the beginning of this transfer market would have expected that. You know what I mean? To bring in another goalkeeper. So they're stronger. And if they play that Partey, Rice, Odegaard midfield, there ain't many better than that. So, yes, in short, sorry, I waffle a bit. In short, I can see Arsenal finishing second, and I can see them finishing closer. They're in Champions League. That obviously is an unknown factor. So I wouldn't put my house on it, but my feeling is that they'll be strong enough to finish a good second. It's after that, for me, it gets difficult. I mean, you got Manchester United who are paying £72 million for a guy that scored 9 goals. Crazy, man. Absolutely crazy. There's no proof that he can do a job in the Premier League whatsoever. Now, if they'd got him for 30 million, you might think, okay, it's worth a gamble. You know, second striker, reserve striker, if you like. But no, he's their main man, evidently.
I asked this question. No, it doesn't. I asked this question to Dino last week because if we're looking at money-wise, do you think they should have gone all out and got Kane and really gave Levy no chance to? Yeah, absolutely.
120 million.
Go for it.
If they'd have bought nobody else and kept the same side as last season and just bought Kane, they could be challenging because he's going to get you 30 goals, isn't he? I know I'm not saying anything outstanding here, but he could have scored. He'll get you 30 goals. You had that because Man U, I don't know how they did it because I didn't particularly rate them last year, but they managed to get third somehow. So you had 30 goals on top of that. Another 10 points on top of that takes what I think 86 points or something. That puts him with a chance, certainly up there anyway. You know,
and he could have easily done the difference. Yeah, he could have easily, and we may not get another chance. That's probably their only chance ever of getting him. Although if he does go to Bayern, I don't want to turn it into a tangent on Kane, but if he does end up going to Bayern, I can see him only staying there for a season or two and wanting to come back to finish that record off.
possible.
And he's still got years left in him. So maybe
Yeah,
Forest should make sure we stay in the Premier League and get him for his golden years, and he can break
Yeah,
Alan Shearer's record playing for the mighty Reds, isn't it? But
it'd be good, wouldn't it? The thing about Kane
Yeah,
is he's
it
never
would
been a pace merchant, has he? So that's not. It's not like a worry of him slowing down. He's never been like that. So I think he can go into his 35, and still score goals.
I agree with you in terms of the price tag on Højlund. I think they've massively overpaid, but obviously they're paying more for potential than it. It's just mad that in this day and age in the Premier League, you're paying 70 odd million for potential. I mean, Man City did it a couple of seasons ago, paid over 100 million for Grealish, who wasn't the finished article, and it still isn't the finished article, but you're paying 100 million for what they might potentially be. It's
But at least
crazy.
he played several seasons in the Premier League, hasn't he? You know what I mean? This guy's been playing in Italy, and he played 20 games.
I mean,
20 games, and you're worth 72 million. Sorry, I don't get it.
Well, let's look at their other end, and their signing of Onana. How do you rate him as a goalkeeper?
Absolutely brilliant. I was astonished that he went for such, and that's the other end of the scale, because I think goalkeeper is often undervalued. Really, they don't get the recognition they deserve. They can get you 10 points a year extra, just as much as a striker can. I mean, I've said before, our first signing when we got promoted was Peter Shilton, and that guy, trust me, he won us games and won us trophies. 100%. So 100%. I think they're going for around 40-something million. I think for me that's a bargain, and he will change the way they play football. Do you know what I mean? Because obviously De Gea was very poor distribution. He didn't used to come out of his box. And will push that entire team up the pit. So he's a good signing in my mind. And if they get Amrabat as well, that would be a really good signing.
That's the other one that I think that could make a massive difference if they do sign him. That's why I still think it's a shame for them that they missed out. I don't like Man United. I don't hate them as much as some of our other FFTV colleagues do. But,
I hate them. I hate them.
So you've gone for them what we've got. So have you gone for them as your third place team then? In this,
no, not necessarily. Not necessarily. This is why I say it gets difficult, because Liverpool in the equation. I think it'll be one of them two, Liverpool or Man United, that get third and fourth. I'm not sure. I mean, let's face it, the transfer window's not over yet. The problem with Liverpool is inexperience.
And to be fair to everybody who takes part in this series, I'm going to give you guys until the season starts to give me your final 20 predictions of 20 positions, because it's only fair, because even for Forest, I think there's still a lot more business for us to do, and I'd have to right now it would be blind optimism for the position that I'm hoping for us to finish in, but hopefully we'll have some players in that.
Right now I'd say relegated. If we went in with our current squad, I'd say relegated.
Oh wow! Okay, let's not go there then. Right, so let's say that's your top four, yeah. Whatever order you were going for 3 and 4, we're going for.
I think so, yeah.
Man City, Arsenal, and any order, Man U and Liverpool.
Well,
so who's the ones that are going to be missed out?
Well, it's not now, is it? It's top 5 now. It's top 5.
I was just about to say, but I only heard that a couple of days ago. It still hasn't been finalised on what the criteria is for that 5th place finish, but we could have 5 teams in the Champions League.
The only thing is, right, I gather now from what I've been hearing, because it is a bit unclear. You're right, and you think it'd be rock solid by now, you'd know, wouldn't you? But from what I can gather, what people are saying is it's what's the word? The
criteria?
No. When you get so many points for doing well in a competition, it's just gone out of my head. All right, so what I can gather, it'll come to me in a sec. For what I can gather, I think it's your country or your league. So how well your league's done in the European Cups, Europa League and all that lot. To decide if that's the case. Yeah, if that's the case, then whoever gets in 5th. I mean, we are definitely the top league, so whoever gets in 5th would get there. But I'm not certain, because I don't know if it might be the club, if that club's got a good enough record. But I think it is the country, so it looks like 5th. It's the Super League, isn't it? It's the Super League. This is what they've wanted all along. They're turning the European Cup into the Super League.
And and this is another tangent. Certainly, with the pressure coming from the Saudi league, I think this might become a reality sooner rather than later. Because we lost connection. You've lost me, have you?
No, yeah.
Aren't you still there? Have I lost?
Yeah.
No, sorry, I thought I lost connection. But yeah, you can see with the pressure coming from a Saudi league soon. I think that Super League might be a reality sooner than we think. But yeah, okay. So let's go on to this fifth place. Let's say it's a fifth place Champions League finish. Who do you see getting that?
I've got two candidates. I've got two candidates, possibly three. I'll go with three, and then we can discuss. Chelsea. I think they're signing some cracking players. They look, and Pochettino. I do have a lot of respect for Pochettino. Newcastle, although their transfer window's been a bit meh, and Aston Villa, who I think have had a really good transfer window, and I like Emery. Although, I suppose with Emery, he is more of a cup man than a league man, but nevertheless, I've liked what I've seen so far with what he's done with Villa. So they're my three for 5th, 6th, and 7th. The order, take your pick. I mean, if you force me, I'd say Chelsea, Newcastle, Villa, but that's just a guess, you know. But I think it's those three.
Yeah,
get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've certainly had my mind changed on Chelsea. And Dina mentioned it last week, and I was like, because I originally had Newcastle as my 5th place team, and then Chelsea 6th. But I've loved the way they've played their pre-season. They won that Premier League tournament over in the US, and they look fantastic doing it. I agree. They've signed some really good players. And Cuckoo is one of my favourites. He scored 3 goals in that tournament. He looks sharp. He looks
clever player.
Team. He looks like he's in. Yeah, and Jackson as well. Them two. There was one. I can't remember which game it was that we played together, and they looked really good together. And he's a player that's come onto my radar as well. And I can see,
obviously, we have to see how
that
gets on in the Premier League, don't we?
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, if we see players. Yeah. I agree with you on Jackson. But just the early signs, and that's all you can really read into from Premier League, from pre-season. It's not just about getting minutes and legs, is it? It's about seeing how they play, seeing how they gel.
Exactly. Exactly.
You know what I
mean?
They've
not left him on the sideline, have they?
No, exactly. And also, I mean, Sterling. I can see Sterling really raising his game this season and coming back to a bit more of the form that we saw at Man City. But the main crux of it all is Pochettino. I think he's a fantastic manager, you know, and he's come back at the right time. I think it's the right club for him, you know, because of the players that they have got, the youth around it. There's not a very old squad, although they've still got legends like Thiago Silva, who I saw him score the other day against Brighton, I think it was. They've got players I've still got. They've got a really nice blend there for me, and I see him as a real dark horse for even getting into the top 4. The more I'm seeing of them in pre-season, more seeing how they're blending, and considering where they finished last season, you know, that's a huge shift. And I think they'll be the biggest movers this season in terms of position in relation to where they finished last season. So I think Chelsea will be the biggest movers, and in a positive direction. Really do.
Of course, if they sign Caicedo as well, I mean, wow, you know, that's a hell of an uplift in their quality, their squad quality. If you get Caicedo in there, that guy is amazing. So yeah. I mean, like you, I wouldn't be surprised if they got in the top 4. It wouldn't shock me. But I'm just thinking it may be a little bit too much if the other teams perform as they should. But I wouldn't be shocked because they've got some fantastic players. I mean, they really have. And even the youngsters, like the Brazilian lad, is it Santos? They've got a couple of youngsters in there anyway that look like they will beat well. So, yeah.
we've got a good blend. I think we've got a really good blend, and I think, like I say again, a good manager as well. And actually had a little bit of a flip round with my tops, and this is probably this 5, 6, 7 is a position where I'm a bit like keeps moving for me, and I'm really fancying Aston Villa as well. I'm liking the way they're setting up, the players that they've brought in. They've signed some really decent players. I mean, obviously Moussa Diaby from Leverkusen
that was a right smash and grab, that was, because there were a lot of clubs looking at him.
I mean, we got him for a decent price, about 40 million.
Yeah, I think
and he's a fantastic.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It was compared with all.
And when you look at, yeah, definitely. And when you look at even the likes of Pau Torres from Villarreal, who's really fantastic.
Yeah, another good signing.
One of the better centre backs in Europe. Yuri Tielemans. I thought he was.
Yeah.
I thought he was a bit disgraceful last season, actually, for Leicester. I saw too many times where he just didn't seem to give a shit.
I agree.
But he's a very good player, and put him in the right team with the right blend. I'm sure Emery's not going to put up with any bullshit from him, but he's a good player, and he's a solid central midfielder in the Premier League level.
This is his chance, isn't it? This is his big chance now. He's a good club that could progress well, and because I agree with you, last season and part of the season before as well, he was literally just waiting for Arsenal, because it was these constant links with one. 25 million there, too much. We'll wait till he's free. And then Arsenal moved on. And he was left like, oh. Yeah. So he's lucky in a way. He's got the Villa move. Because he
I mean, it's certainly not a bad move for him. But yeah, you can see him being used in a more of a number 8 position, I see. But he's coming into a team where their midfield are pretty strong, and they've got a nice blend with the youngsters as well in there. I just like the look of them. Because they're just, again, their manager, he worked miracles. I think it was a little bit went under the radar with Aston Villa last season because of the progress happened so quickly. And at one stage they're in a relegation battle, and next thing they're fighting for Europe. And that's massively down to how the manager got them organised, how he got them playing, how he got them basically playing as a team, which Gerrard's just didn't do that job. And like I say, he's a fantastic manager. I really do rate them. I think they've got a good chance of finishing in that top 6 and maybe battling for that last. Go on.
Yeah, the thing about Villa is if they get it right. Yeah, if Villa get it right, they can go far. They're a big club. They're a massive club, Villa are. They've got a huge fan base. They've got the heritage. They've got the manager. They're getting the players. They're one of the richest clubs in the world. People forget that. That goes under the radar. They don't realise how rich Villa are. They can go far. They can if they can get up into that top 4 or 5, they can stay there.
Yeah.
Because obviously they're getting more money coming in, more, So yeah, I'll be watching that with interest. Aston Villa, they can really go far.
A quick question on them: do you still see them going in for our boy Jono, even though they've got a DRB? You just mentioned their bank balance and their coffers. They've certainly got the money in the bank.
Yeah. But does it make sense? Does it make sense? I don't really think it makes sense, but. Yeah, but maybe as a squad player, and some of the figures I've talked about now, for them, 40-50 million is no big deal. No big deal. So possibly, yeah. And I think it'd be a good move for Johnson. I'm calling him Johnson now because I'm going off him. It'd be a good news for Johnson because once he's gone from Forest, he can fuck off. I don't care about him. I'm not one of these who, I want him to have a great career. I want him to do it. No, if he's not a Forest player, I don't give a shit. I don't care where he's born. If he wants to go and don't look back because I won't be waving. No, I've always been like that. Once a player leaves Forest, sod him. I don't get this.
Okay, so I'm just.
I know you.
Okay, so how will you? No, I do love him, but I'm also realistic enough to know that, or to see that we need money. We need money to get in the players that we need to get in, and I think he's not. getting much game time towards the end of the season. Even when he did come on in those games, he had very little impact. Yes, a couple of times he only got 5 or 10 minutes at the end of a game, but he didn't really shake things up too much when he did come on.
No, you're right.
I don't want to lose him. And in an ideal world, we get the players in that we need, and we keep John as well. But I think we have to be realistic.
I don't want to lose him. I don't want to lose him. I'm not his biggest fan. I think he spends a lot of time doing nothing, but I still rate him as a really good player. If Forest kind of force him out the door, that's a different matter. You know what I mean? But he's under contract, and he's 21. Is he 21? I mean, another
22.
year at Forest is not going to harm his career. It's not going to harm his career another year at Forest. You know, unless he dies of boredom.
Listen, in my humble opinion, I don't think any decision to sell him would be based on him, on his attitude or anything like that. It would be purely based on finances and what's best for the club. Yeah. And like I mentioned in our live stream, was it Sunday night, Saturday night? I can't remember. That it's for the greater good of the team. We're still a selling club. We're still a few seasons away from being able to hold on to our top players. From being a club like Brighton, because Brighton, right now, they can actually turn, if they want 100 million for Caicedo, and they won't sell him for any less than that. And they can afford to do that. They've built themselves. They are the proverbial model that we need to be looking at, to be honest, in terms of their recruitment, how they're structured, how they went from Potter to De Zerbi, and there was no real transitional period. They just carried on, and if not, they got better last season. And they're another team. They're another team. I don't think they've been weakened by the players that we've lost. I think they're still a strong team.
I have a question. I have a question for you. Southampton had that model, and if they run out of finding these young, brilliant players, they're in the shit. Do you know what I mean? Southampton were very similar, if you remember. They had all these great young players, and they were going up the table, and they were selling them for loads of money and getting another one. Then all of a sudden, that supply ran out.
Yeah.
And that's always the danger when you're a selling, if you like, you know.
There is a balance. There is a comparison to be drawn there, but also a lot of Southampton's youth talent that came from were homegrown youth, homegrown talent, like the likes of Walcott. Brighton have gone for the model of the South American. I mean, and Ciso is another fantastic player that they found from somewhere. Mitoma, one of my favourite players last season. I'm surprised nobody's really gone in with a solid bid for him, because he's got a hell of a high ceiling, in my opinion. We've still got some fantastic players, and that's fast. He's fast. He's tricky. He had a couple of chances against us. You know, if it was a bit like a Leicester. It was a bit like a Leicester and Harvey Barnes against us, because if he'd taken those chances, we would have been.
I'll tell you what. I've got one of my abiding memories of last season. I was sitting in the lower Brian Clough stand. Hey, I didn't say executive stand.
Well, executive.
I was about level with the exec stand, and I was level with the edge of the penalty box. And there was one bit where the ball was passed through to Mitoma, and he went through, and you could see the entire Forest backline chasing after him. And there was no way they were going to catch him. He was just getting further and further away with the ball at his feet, mind you. Yeah. So I'll never forget that. It was because it was such a straight line with the Forest defenders. He just went through. It was like a race, but there was no contest. So,
mate, as ever, and I knew it was going to happen when me and you start talking. We are getting slightly sidetracked. So give me your 5, 6, and 7, and you can change your order later. I won't hold you to it
5, 6, and 7 then are Chelsea, Newcastle. Who else did I say? I can't remember who else I said.
Villa. I think you went with Villa.
Villa. Yeah, Villa. Yeah, Villa. Yep. So I've not written this down.
Yeah, and you know what? Yeah, no, I mean, I've got the same three. Probably, I've got Chelsea 5th, Villa 6th, and Newcastle 7th. I think you kind of touched on it. They haven't done a hell of a lot in a transfer market. Newcastle haven't, but I think they've signed one of the best midfielders in world football in Sandro Tonali. And if depending on how they play him, with Guimaraes, because I've seen him in preseason a couple of times. He's played CDM with Guimaraes slightly forward. Then they switched it round, I think once they settle on how they're going to play them two, and it may be interchangeable, I think they two, they've got a fantastic midfield there. They've signed, who did they sign in their defence? I forgot the name, but they've strengthened their defence as well. We've got a couple of players that have gone out. Oh yeah, Harvey Barnes was another good signing for Newcastle, in my opinion. But yeah, so I think they're my 7th place team. But I did have them a little higher when I spoke to Dino last. I think I had them in 5th originally, but I just think with a Champions League and that being a new thing for the manager as well, and I sincerely do I sincerely do hope they stick with Eddie Howe, because I think he's a fantastic manager. But I just worry because the owners, the Saudi owners, they're not the most patient people in the world, and will their patience run out if he doesn't make the progress they're expecting this season? I think he's made fantastic progress, but are they wanting it a lot? Are they wanting it a bit quicker? That's the only thing that I can think would get him out of a job. But other than that, I think he should be there. He should be their legacy manager. He should be there for years.
Yeah, I don't know if it's that they want it quicker. I just think that they want progress. And if he drops down to 6th out of the Champions League, I can see him going. Which would be wrong, in my opinion, because I think he's overachieved so far. You know what I mean? So it's a bit unfair to expect him to go again. They'd be a very interesting one to watch, Newcastle, because honestly, I don't know how good they're going to be. I mean, they were good last season without being spectacular. They kind of, in a way, they kind of snuck in there. Everybody's talking about all these other teams, and all of a sudden, bloody hell, Newcastle are there. And nobody really rated them as a great team, you know.
No, I think that's a great point. And I do think in terms of, like, obviously the league position, he has slightly overachieved. But also, if you look at how poorly the likes of Liverpool, Chelsea, Spurs to an extent fell off last season, you know, because you would have seen in the normal season, you would have seen Liverpool in that top 4 easily.
Yeah, of course you would. Yeah,
you know, and maybe and maybe Newcastle missed out as a result of that. And Chelsea would be around it. So I think they took advantage of a few teams having very poor seasons or very transitional seasons. Let's put it that way, to be kind. But I think they'll drop. For me, they'll drop down to 7th this season, and that will be largely down to the Premier League run. And seeing how that goes. Sorry, the Champions League.
I don't know. I don't know about you, Ed, but I was expecting them to invest a little more this transfer window because they achieved Champions League. It's like, right, you're in there now. You've got a chance to stay there. But they haven't. I still think they
will. I think there's a few transfers coming in there that will probably later on after the season starts. But I don't think they're finished. There's a few teams that are nowhere near finishing in the transfer market. They've got a lot more business to do, and it's a domino effect, isn't it? We're waiting for players to be moved on, so bids can go in and bids can be accepted. Because if you're a team who's going to lose one of their key players, you got to know that you're going to replace that player in time before you agree to sell him. But okay, let's move on to number 8.
At the moment, just to let you know, at the moment they've got a net deficit on their transfer window, 71.4 million euros. So 60 odd million pounds. That's not a lot for a top 4 side to be spending.
Agreed. Oh, I think I've gone again.
No, you're all right. You're there.
You keep freezing. I don't know if it's me or you, but it just keeps freezing for a bit. But guys, there's 146 of you in, so thank you so much for joining us. But please hit that like button. We've got 59 likes already. Can you get us up to 100 likes in the next couple of minutes, guys? It'll be really appreciative. This is a fledgling channel, so we're still growing, but obviously we're growing off the back of the success we're having with FFTV, the Forest Fan TV channel. But there's great things coming ahead, and we want to make sure that we're getting regular content out. Ant's back in. He's going to do a couple of shows with me, aren't you, Ant? But really looking forward to this season now. You know, there's a lot to look forward to in terms of what's happening with FFTV and the channels growing. Let's just hope we can be a bit more excited about our team. But thank you guys for all the likes so far. But please try and get us up to 100 likes. We'd really appreciate that. It really helps us grow the channel, and it helps the algorithm. It helps us get seen by other people on their live feed. So yeah, really appreciate all you guys being in there. And thank you for joining us. But let's go. I'm going to give you my 8th place team, and let's see if you agree or disagree. I would go for Brighton and Hove Albion to continue their
exactly
progress.
The one I was thinking of. Exactly the one I was thinking.
Yeah. Go on, you tell me why.
Well, they're a bloody good side, and they've got a bloody great manager. And even if they sell Caicedo, evidently they've already got somebody in to replace him.
Be honest, had you heard of De Zerbi before he joined them? Because
I don't think I had. No. You know me and foreign football. Right. Come
on. Or Farmers Leagues, yeah.
Farmers Leagues, all of them.
But yeah, if it's not Premier League, it's a Farmers League, isn't it? But yeah, absolutely. I think we are obviously in agreement with Brighton. I won't spend too much time talking on it, but I think they can afford. They also, like I said, they're in a position now where they don't have to sell Caicedo and they can hold on to him. And if they don't get the 100 million, they'll keep holding him for another season. He's got another 4 or 5 years left on his contract, so there's no rush to sell him.
Yeah, that was a stupid contract he signed. Stupid, without a release clause or anything. Just a gentleman's agreement.
Especially because he wants to go.
Yeah,
he wants to go, doesn't he?
You're absolutely right. As regarding Brighton, what you were saying earlier on, I absolutely agree. They are a model to look at for sure. Although, like I say, it can drop off if you don't get the new players in. But so far, so good. And they're a smaller club than we are, so it shows you what can be achieved, doesn't it? It gives you encouragement. Yeah, well, if they can do it, we can do it. Same with Brentford, teams like that. Bloody hell, they're nowhere near our size. So the potential's there as long as we get the right manager and players. Anyway, move on.
It's all about the structure, isn't it? The structure behind the scenes. If you get that right, it doesn't matter who the manager is. As they've clearly proven, like
absolutely.
I said, Potter out, who was fantastic. De Zerbi comes straight in, and nothing really changes, So yeah, as long as you get the structure behind the scenes right, that's basically the crux of a solid team. So we're total agreement. Brighton for 8th position. Right, I'm gonna give you the shout first. Who have you gone for number 9 in your prediction? Premier League predictions for 2023-24?
It starts getting really difficult now because that block below are all a bit similar. Yeah. I'm not going for Palace. I think it's. Can Fulham do it again? No, they've lost Mitrovic, haven't they? Or they're losing him. Have they lost him yet? Has he gone? Or are they still?
He wants to go. He hasn't quite gone yet. We haven't accepted it. But his head's been turned. So that's
it looks like they could lose Paulinho as well, which is a massive loss. So no, I'm not going for them. Brentford, they've just lost their goalkeeper and they've got no Ivan Toney. It's got to be us. It's got to be one of them three, I suppose, hasn't it? What? We're down to 9th, aren't we? That's only just above our. Yeah, I'll go for.
Who are you going to go for?
Who what?
Who are you going for?
I'm going to go.
This is your 9th place.
I'm going to go for. Brentford.
It doesn't have to be a final answer. We'll go for Brentford, yeah? We'll lock it in for now, but it doesn't have to be a final
answer. Well, the next
answer.
Three, let me put it this way. The next three, Brentford, Fulham. Yeah, the next two, Brentford. No, Brentford, yeah. 9th is Brentford. What about you? What you put? Put me out of my misery. What you put?
Right. I've gone for your beloved Spurs, mate. I think you've totally forgotten. I'm going to go for Spurs to.
Totally forgot about them. You're so irrelevant.
Because
I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it. Spurs. Okay, Spurs. You're right.
Spurs for 9th.
Yeah.
You're in agreement with me for Spurs for 9th. I think we've got a few.
Yeah.
It'd be great, actually. Yeah. We will, guys. We will put up a community tab, give you the opportunities to put your Premier League predictions in as well, because it's just a bit of fun, isn't it? But I want to keep the receipts as well, so I'm gonna pull them out.
Are you writing mine down? You swine.
YouTube's recording it, mate. It's the receipts are here on YouTube live, mate.
Oh yeah.
So you go for Spurs. I'm going for Spurs as well. I'm going for Spurs as well. I think. I do like the manager. I do like what he's doing, but I think their biggest issue is going to be Harry Kane. And if he goes, and there's a good chance he will. Then the one for me, there's talk of them replacing him with Brennan Johnson. Well, that's not a replacement for Harry Kane in anybody's books. I know.
That's mad.
I agree. I know. But like I said on the stream the other night as well, if we can get 50 million out of Levy, mate, just sign the deal and take the money, because you'll probably renege on the deal at some point. But you know what? They've massively messed up with that. They obviously can't persuade him to sign a new contract. He's got no intention to sign that new contract. And they will lose if they don't sell him now. They're going to lose him for free in a year's time. So,
the best argument. Sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, what would you do in that position? What would you do if you're Levy?
Sell him.
It's a no-brainer, isn't it?
The best argument I've heard is Spurs with Harry Kane, are they going to get in the top 5? No. Spurs without Harry Kane, are they going to get in the top 5? No. So you may as well sell him and get the money and rebuild your squad.
Yeah.
Because you're going to lose him for free next season, and then you're still not going to get in the top 5, but you got no money.
Exactly. And he can go wherever he wants him.
Not selling him.
Yeah. Right now, Spurs have got a little bit of saying where he goes. But once he's out of contract, he can go wherever he wants, and there's nothing to stop him going
to Manchester United.
He could go straight to Arsenal. He could do a Sol Campbell if he wants to. No one can say shit to him.
Ooh, that'd be good.
He can do anything to him. So for me, I'd sell him. I wouldn't sell him to a rival, but I also don't see what the appeal. Yeah, but what's the appeal for him to go to Bayern apart from you might win a league and a
getting
cup.
Out Spurs. Getting out Spurs.
If it does happen, and this is probably the last thing I'll say on it, if it does happen, I can definitely see him coming back in a couple of years' time to try and finish off that record, because the strike. I mean, look at the strikers nowadays. They're playing until they're 36, 37, and they're top level as well. And he's just their thingy, isn't he? What's his name? He's their Lewandowski, isn't he? He's their next Lewandowski.
Yeah, it's like basically. I said earlier on, he's never relied on pace, so he's not going to lose that. It's all in the brain with Harry Kane, and he ain't going to lose that. I could see him going on to 35, 36. I think a couple of years in Germany, different experience for him. He can win the Bundesliga a time or two. They could do well in the Champions League. He'll probably win a German Cup or whatever. It's better than nothing that he's getting at Spurs. And as you say, in a couple of years, it can come back. But you say losing Kane, that's 30 goals they've lost, so they're not going to replace that. Full stop.
No.
But their defense as well. Their defense, it's shocking. They've not got any central defenders. Romero's massively overrated. Davinson Sanchez shouldn't be allowed to put a pair of football boots on. They've got Eric Dyer, who is dire. They've probably got one or two others, but their defense. They just signed a
goalkeeper. They have just signed a goalkeeper from Empoli, Vicaria. I don't know too much about him. Again, it's a farmer's league for me. I don't. No, I don't. But I assume that's to come straight in. I mean, 20 million is just like basically what we're looking to pay for Dean Henderson. But it gets you a decent goalkeeper. But what do you think about? Let me just say, what do you think about signing of Maddison? Because I think that's probably the better business.
Yeah, it's a cracking signing. Maddison deserves to be at a better club, seriously, because it's gonna. If Kane goes, who's he supplying the balls to? Richarlison.
Yeah.
Give me a break.
That's what I'm hearing from Spurs fans. Hearing a lot of Spurs fans are almost resigned to the losing Kane this season, and they're looking at Richarlison to replace him. Which
nice.
He's had more goals. He's had more goals disallowed than he scored last season, didn't he?
Yeah, and the Spurs fans, they are so embarrassed about. Did you see what Spurs put out when he got his new shirt? R9. And the Spurs fans went into meltdown because they were so embarrassed about it.
That is embarrassing.
Yeah, you're back.
I'm back. Okay, right. So that is embarrassing. So we'll go for Spurs number in our 9th place position. Can you remember the other teams that you mentioned? I'll give you mine again first. I'm going for the 10th place position in my Premier League prediction for 23-24, I am going with Brentford. So even despite losing, Tony's going to be out obviously till after Christmas, isn't he? Even without him, I think we've still got enough. I think we've got enough. Go on.
Yeah,
and they're still sniffing around Jono.
Well, they're not getting Jono. I can safely say that they're not getting Jono. Jono ain't going to move to Brentford. If they offered 60 million, I think Jono would say, "No, I'm not going there." Well, why? Why would you go to Brentford? So, why would you go to Brentford? Seriously.
Yeah, I know, but if the rumours are true, I mean, there's been a lot of rumours about him spending time down there and having the chat. And he's recently changed his agent, hasn't he? So I don't know what that spells. So I don't know. So that's an interesting one, but I still think they'll have enough. Again, it's down to a manager and the structure that they've got, because they are a lot smaller club than Nottingham Forest. Yet they're still managing to do that. Even the stadium's shite, but they do well. They've got a very good manager as well, and
you're absolutely right. The manager and the structure, as you've said, that's what's going to serve them well. I do worry about them losing Tony, even if he's back in January, a month to get fit, whatever, February. But it might be sold before then. Do you know what I mean? January.
There's a few clubs interested, isn't there? I mean, I think he'd suit Arsenal down to the ground. I really genuinely think he would.
He would suit Arsenal, but I'm not sure whether he's Arteta's kind of player. But he would. He's the closest thing to Harry Kane, in all honesty, because he plays. He's not just a striker. He sets up goals. He can play out wide. He can play deeper. He's a bloody good player. It's just his attitude that, puts people off a little bit.
He does link up play fantastically well. So it's not just his goal scoring ability. Obviously, he takes set pieces, as we found, to our shock horror last season as well. But I don't think they're going to miss him as much as some people are suggesting. I think they'll be fine, and then they'll kick. If they don't sell him, they'll kick on once he comes back after Christmas. But so Brentford for my 10th place position. I'll let you shoot with this one, mate. Who are you going for 11th? And I think you've kind of you had a little run of 3 teams. I think it'll be one of those 3.
Yeah, 11th. I'm going to go. See, it's difficult, isn't it? Because as I was saying with Fulham, if they lose Paulinho and Mitrovic, that's 2 massive, massive players for them. And I think they would possibly struggle without those 2.
Yeah.
So now I'm looking at Palace, West Ham, and Fulham.
Okay. Go on, nail it down.
It's so difficult because I'm thinking of Palace now. If they sell Elise and because Palace normally finish 12th. I mean, I think they finished 10th.
Yeah, but they proverbially finished 11th, 12th. That's their position.
Yeah. So I'll tend to just go for them for that reason. We could change it once the transfers are done, can't we? So I'll go. I'll go Palace.
You go Palace, and I will agree with you on Palace. That's who I've got down as well. So I got Palace down for my 11th place as well. Again, I think they've still got good players. I think it'll be interesting to see with the managerial situation and all that. But he got a tune out of him last season, didn't he, or Woy? And they've got some fantastic young players. I know Elise is one of my favourites, but there is a chance, as our good friend Dino, good to see you, Dino, as mentioned there's a good chance that he's going to go. Paulina as well. Again, like you said, the top player, one of the best statistically.
Paulina's at Fulham.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yes, he is. Yeah. Right. Yeah, we're talking about Palace, aren't we? Yeah. No. But yeah, in terms of the players that we've already got, they haven't really signed too many players. I think they still struggle for a striker. If you're gonna rely on one of the Ayew brothers and what's his name, Eduardo.
Not Eduardo. Came from Celtic, didn't he? He looked quite good at first, but
I thought he'd be a good player. I thought he'd hit the ground running in the Premier League, but I think maybe second season he might get better. You never know. But I have got them for
not only that, but you never know. Palace might have some youngster coming through as well, because they seem to do that, don't they? They bring the youngsters through, so you never know.
They've lost, obviously, they've lost Wilfried Zaha, which is probably the biggest outgoing of the summer, and he's gone over to Galatasaray, isn't it? He's certainly gone over to Turkish.
Yeah, Galatasaray.
I think they probably got the maximum they could have got out of him. I think last season you could see he was on a decline slightly. Seems to have lost a little bit of pace, but then you got players like Elise and Eze coming in and really looking the business.
They've signed Jefferson Lerma as well for defensive midfield. He's a decent player.
Yes.
So
better
than we've got.
You never know. So I would say par for him. 11th or 12th is usually the par position for them. I'm going to go with you on this section of the show. So go on, and you tell me who is going to finish 12th in the Premier League in the season 23-24.
I'm going to go. I'm down to 2 now. Fulham and West Ham. I've probably forgotten somebody, but Fulham and West Ham.
I'm sure you have.
I'll go West Ham.
Okay. Then
on
Europa
the
League.
I think Fulham are going to lose their 2 best players. That's what I'm thinking now.
They're in the Europa League, aren't they, this season? Having won the Conference Cup.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it might be a bit much for them.
Yeah, they're not my 12th place team for me. Purely, I think that, and I think also their cup run last season, the European Cup run, really affected their league form last season massively, and they were lucky to stay up in the end, to be honest. I just don't see that. Yeah, I think we're going to struggle a bit more this season. I see them a lot further down the league.
I wouldn't argue with you on that. I mean, they're having massive problems trying to buy somebody, aren't they? Because everybody's money, puts ridiculous prices on them. So.
Apart from going after every single player that we're interested in, and thank you, Mark. That was a player's name I couldn't remember. It was Odson. I can't say it now. Odson Edward,
not Edward.
Yeah, Edward. No, Edward. I know. I knew it was similar anyway. But I'm gonna surprise you because you have forgotten a team. So for my 12th place position, I'm gonna go with.
God, I've not forgotten them bunch of crap. I know where they're going, mate, on my list.
I'm talking at this stage. I'm talking purely with my heart because I'm not seeing anything that tells me that Forest are going to finish in 12th this season. But the progress I was hoping for, and I've mentioned in a few previous streams, if we can hold on to that home form from last season and just even slightly improve our away form, that can take us 4 or 5 places further up the league, and that's what I hope to see happening this season. Whatever happens, we hold on to home form and we get a couple more wins away from home, and that could make a massive difference in where we finish in the league. So I am talking, like I said, I am talking with my heart, because at the moment I'm certainly not seeing anything on the pitch in the transfer room to tell me that I'm close to getting this prediction right. But I'm going to go with my.
If you'd have asked me, Ed, if you'd have asked me after the last game of the season, I would have said exactly that. And hold on to our own form. We only need. You don't have to improve massively. You only need a few more points away from home, and you shoot up that table. Yeah. But this preseason has destroyed me, and this lack of activity has destroyed me. I'm so down there at the moment with them.
I mean, even if you convert those 23 or 25 points that we lost from winning positions last season, convert half of those. That makes a huge difference in terms of where you finish.
I think of all that, and then I think of Worrell and McKenna at the back again. I think it could be worse. I mean, it could be the other way around. We could maintain our away form and lose our own form. Then what?
Guys in the chat,
you're back. Anybody know any
It's
jokes?
me.
Oh, it's back. Is it?
Oh God, I can hear you now. At least I can hear you now. I can't. I'm not moving. And you speak because my screen's not moving. It's totally frozen, mate.
So where are we now then? We're you got a
Well,
nice smile on your face. Oh, I think you're back. Ez.
am I back? I'm not back on my screen, but as long as you can hear me, guys. I was just saying, quick question, and then we're gonna end the stream, Dave. Guys, anybody got Nottingham Forest finishing in the top 12 upwards this season? Give me a quick shout in the comments. Am I back? Oh, are we both back? Oh, fuck off. There's no edge stream without a freeze somewhere between it. But yeah, does anybody agree that Forest is going to finish 12th and above this season? And we are a pair of.
I don't know what Wolverine started with this knob business. That's it now. I mean, every time something goes wrong, it should be knob.
Mate, I'll get him in a headlock. You fart on his head on stage, okay? Wait till Sunday. We'll get him back.
I can't do that. I don't do that thing.
Yes, you do. You've done it once before. Just don't do it off Dino's head, mate. You're fucking. Guys, thank you so much. If you haven't already, hit the like button. Please do on the way out. It was a great stream. We could have literally gone on all night. You know what me and Ant are like. But do look out for a few more collaborations as the season goes on. And I've got a show. It's either going to be tomorrow or Friday. I haven't decided yet because it depends on our schedule. But we've got a FPL related show, and I know how much Ant loves FPL, so I've got. No, I haven't invited you, Ant. I've invited Dino for that one. I know you can't give a shit about FPL, but I'm starting to get into it.
I can't support other players, mate. No, fuck them.
The whole league. It can't all be a Farmers League, but thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate your comments. I'm sorry I haven't quite mastered this, getting the comments up, talking, and having a stream running at the same time. yeah, and getting my connection sorted. I blame Free. They're fucking shit, mate. Don't get one of those 5G hubs because if they're not worth it, I might have to upgrade to bloody Virgin Media or something like that. But other internet providers are available. I'm not getting sponsored by anyone.
Unless they want to sponsor us.
Yes, unless they want to sponsor us, yeah. Sponsor my streams. Give me a stream sponsor. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. I really appreciate it. Make sure, if you haven't already, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Click that notifications bell as well, so you do know whether I'm going to stream Thursday night or Friday night. You'll find out if you click that button. But thank you, guys. And thank you for everybody that joined us from the watch along. Big shout out to all my FFTV family. You guys are amazing. If it wasn't for you guys, there'd be no point in doing any of this. And join FFTV's Dino on his Pornhub channel. He'll be there in the next 5 minutes. But bless you guys. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you again soon. Like I say, hit that notifications bell so you know when we come in next. So, and thank you for your help. Come on, you Reds.
Cheers, guys. You Reds.
You Reds. Oh yeah, I need to press end broadcast. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
I'm gonna hover around for a bit.
Otherwise, we look stupid.